So, hamburgers, you say? Made with?
Yes.
Made with mince.
Well, burgers, not... Okay. Hamburgers, like, it doesn't matter. No, I'm making hamburgers. Cheeseburgers. Patty mix.
Ah. I'd straight up just clump it with some herbs and then just call it done deal.
Call it a day, yeah.
A couple odd fellows before eating toast, just probably gonna be a weird flavour.
Ah, it's fine. Is there a fly in it? Yes, there is. Okay. Yes, I do the cooking. Yes, I do the cleaning. So, as I do these dishes, let me tell you about my plans to make hamburgers. Well, as Rob just said, I guess cheeseburgers. Hey, cheese. Weeseburgers. Apparently I couldn't get enough of making mince recipes, and so here I am today with the second installment of This Is Why I Can Only Be a Food Critic and Not a Food Presenter or Maker. Because today I am going to be making burgers. Now, as we all know, everywhere is closed, and so it's not like I can go out and just get a burger. I have to make them. And so to curb my burger craving, of course, I'm going to just have to swallow my pride, suck it up, and make them myself.
Diamond earring came off in the ocean and it's gone. And there's people that are dying.
Yesterday was the first time I went to the supermarket since we locked down. And so excited to be making these burgers because I have a whole lot of food, and I'm excited to, you know, make the meal. I'm excited to get everything going. Stubborn wee teaspoon. Now you may be thinking, Ben, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, to that I say, this is going to make like 4 or 5 meals. This is from Rocky Road, by the way, don't get it twisted. And in saying that, once I've done these dishes, it'll finally be time for me to embrace what I've been missing and embark on my burger journey. Thanks for coming along. Now, everyone likes their burgers in a specific, different way. I like mine with whatever I have and whatever I can afford. So, with that being said, I have completely forgotten to get lettuce and tomato. Will I be discussing this point further? No. Should all burgers have it? Of course they should. Moving on. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, obviously, is to make the patties, because I know it's going to take the longest amount of time, because the rest of it's just like assembly. I'm not going to make my own buns because that's just admin. I don't have the time nor the mahi, energy, etc. As a result, I've bought my own. I'll be toasting them because I'm not a lunatic. If you don't toast your buns, I don't know what I have for you. This is not the recipe guide for you, but in that sense, perhaps it should be the recipe guide for you, because it's sacrilegious, the fact that you aren't toasting your buns even just a little. Like, it's different going to Macca's or BK or somewhere, because that's fast food. I feel like if you're making homemade burgers, you've got to take it that step further wherever you can, and toasting those buns and melting that cheese, come on, no brainer, no brainer. So, first thing is going to be me making my patties. Obviously I've got a ton of mince, got my mince. Do I understand that mince is expensive and therefore I'm only making this? Yeah. Therefore, much like my meatballs, I will be trying to make this go as far as I can. Is it just assumed that like people know how to make cheeseburgers and that's it? I'm gonna have to look it up. Anyway, I cannot find a recipe because there's none in a cookbook and my Wi-Fi is heinous. So I'm just gonna assume. I'm just gonna generally assume it's gonna be mince, egg, breadcrumb, something else. It is tragic how all of these food places have closed.
And there's people that are dying.
But what's more tragic is how all of these food places being closed has made me realise how much I'm dependent on them and how whipped I am to all these fast foods because of all the GMOs they pump into them and all that, you know, good kush that they decide to just completely beef up, no pun intended, their burgers and meals and fast food with. So, shockingly my camera died, but also shockingly every single online recipe decides to have a bloody essay in front of the actual recipe. I don't know who decided that they were Aesop, but there's a fable in front of every bloody recipe I find online. What's with that anyway? Shockingly as well, the recipe for burger patties is pretty much the same as meatballs. I've got my mince check, yeah, mince check. Eggs, 2 eggs, all of my spices and herbs and all that jazz. Gonna crush some garlic into it, put some breadcrumb in, and that'll be that. Cool, good. I added a little bit of ginger because I'm frisky sometimes, garlic for sure, pepper, heaps of pepper, and then the herbs and spices I like. So I added cayenne pepper, parsley, rosemary, and thyme, and then the leftovers of this mixed herbs, Italian herbs mix that we have. I mean, you can add whatever spices and herbs you like. Because I'm not a raging lunatic, of course I'm going to be adding tomato paste. I would be adding barbecue sauce, but I don't have any. Now, normally I would add a whole lot more breadcrumbs to this, but I'm worried because considering how the meatballs went in the last Ben Appetit video, I am intensely worried that if I add too many breadcrumbs that I'm going to be thinning out the mixture and that this mince is simply going to fall apart when I cook it again. I do not want a repeat of last time. The hope is that with all these breadcrumbs, this mix will go a lot further, but as I've learned, there's a fine line between making it go far and therefore having more food and meal out of it, but also ensuring that it's not just going to fall apart and that the meal still has tact, still stays intact rather. Otherwise I'm compromising having lots of meals for having bad meals, and I don't want that. So we are back at it again at Krispy Kreme, and by Krispy Kreme I mean the stovetop, because it's now time to cook the patties. I realized that I did not add salt to my mix, and so I'm going to do that now. I know how this worked out last time, but because I am lazy, I am simply going to be molding them and then placing them on the hot pan as I do so. The pan is oiled and it is time to shape these patties. Now I plan to make 6 because that's how many buns I have, but go buck wild, you know. My pan is heating up, getting all hot and steamy. Now one of the things that I don't like about a cheeseburger is when the patty doesn't reach a large portion of the bun. Now the buns I have, they're thick boys, they're pretty good, and so I'm going to ensure that my patties are perhaps not as thick as I'd like because I'm trying to make this go far, but certainly wider than I normally would make. Now, I could be making smash burgers, which is when you make them into balls, put them on the hot surface, and then press them down with something heavy, but I don't think I have something heavy enough, and considering I couldn't open a bloody bottle of oil, perhaps I don't have the strength. I think I'm going to get more than 6 out of this. Originally I planned to make, because I've only got 6 buns, 6 patties, but no.
Wow.
I might make 8. Double patty, double meat all the way across the sky. That's a lame reference, isn't it? Double rainbow.
Double rainbow.
Bring back double rainbow. I'm gonna make 3 patties, but I'm only gonna have 2 burgers. And I say that because
Split a patty.
I'm not gonna give Rob a patty. I say that because I've got more meat than I originally thought I would, and therefore I'm going to have a double meat one as the oil splatters all over me. And now in saying that, while the first side of those cooks, I'm going to toast my buns. I'm indecisive and apparently I can't perceive things. These buns aren't as big as I thought they were, and as a result I'm going to have 3 of them. And I guess I'm ending the double meat dream here. Now it's probably time for me to flip them because I can see browning and cooking. I can see that they're ready to flip. Unlike when I made meatballs, these have held their shape, touch wood. I'm now gonna hit them with a bit more salt because meat's just cooked and therefore I'm gonna give it salt because, you know, if it's just been flipped, it's gonna want to absorb it all and therefore it'll be tastier. Flavor. Perhaps for the next set of burgers, I will put the cheese melted on top of these because, you know, if I've got the means to, I might as well start experimenting. Of course, I want to have every single burger that I've been missing out on, and so by having these ones like this and having the cheese melted on the buns, next time, perhaps I'll put the cheese on here, and if I do, I will have inserted footage by now, unless I do that well in the future. I'm sure you'll see it regardless. Because what else am I doing with my time and life? And I'm making YouTube videos for 20 people. So a little bit of time has passed, and I believe that these are done. Thought it'd be a good idea to use all the fat that's come in this pan to cook up some onions that I can also put inside my burger. I love cooking. I love cooking.